He's fine. Oh, he's with you. He's having fun. Yeah, hold on a second. Is anyone live? We're going to be live. Going live? Yeah.
Is everyone ready?
I think so.
Focused?
Yeah.
Jared?
Yep.
Hang on. Just let these people know. Okay. Alright. What was the original call?
The original call was to the area of Westroads Mall shortly after 7 p.m. This evening. The call was for shots fired. There's an armed individual in the parking lot, had fired off multiple rounds in the air, had multiple callers into 911. At some point, the individual actually called 911 himself and was communicating with 911 throughout the entire incident, or the majority of the incident.
What was he saying?
He was making suicidal comments. It moved from the parking lot, kind of near Dick's, across Nicholas into another parking lot near some of the businesses across the street. At that point, we obviously called in other resources. 811 was available, and we also called in our SWAT team and negotiators to try and make contact with the individual. We actually had contact with him through 911, so that was very, very helpful. Dispatchers did a great job providing that information to us, and thankfully, after some negotiating and him speaking on the phone, he was able to put the gun down, and we were able to take him into custody with no further incident.
So into the air, no one heard?
Nobody heard, thankfully.
Any property in the parking lots, you say shot into the air, any cars hit that we know of?
Not that I know of at this time. We did find some casings, and what we're being told is he shot up in the air. There could be a victim that there's a report that he might have pointed the gun at somebody. We're trying to make contact with that individual if that's actually the case, and obviously pursue charges if they felt they needed to do that.
So this was clearly a mental health situation. How quickly do you guys have to act when you realize that this is the type of situation it's in to get negotiators here as quickly as possible?
Sure. So the great thing about this situation is we actually had a couple co-responders on duty. They were here right away with responding officers. With this being in such close proximity to the mall, we got to get here. We got to act very quickly, set up a perimeter, make sure we get any other citizens out of the way so that they're not harmed, and pretty much isolate that individual so that nobody's injured. Can't give them the opportunity to go inside the mall and have another large-scale incident, so keeping them outside. Thankfully, he moved away from the mall, and we were able to kind of isolate him in between some buildings, and he put the gun down and gave up.
To clarify, never a threat in the mall?
Never a threat in the mall. No, there was no active threat inside the mall at any time. It sounds like it all happened outside of the mall here on the north side of the property.
Can you identify the person?
I just know he is a teenage male. I don't know, have an age. I haven't confirmed any of that yet. It sounds like he's 17 or 18 possibly.
Taken from the scene by ambulance?
He's been taken from the scene. He's going to go get checked out, and he will be booked for firearms-related charges.
What are we missing? Anything
Did
that...
you guys lock down neighbors or evacuate anywhere?
Yeah, so we got on social media pretty quick once the incident kind of started unfolding. Let people know to avoid the area. Right when he actually gave up, we were actually going to put out a wireless emergency alert to the surrounding area. Thankfully, he gave up before we had to do anything like that.
It kind of sounds like this is one of those scary mental health situations that ended almost best case scenario, if you can put it in that kind of sense, where nobody got hurt,
Absolutely.
you didn't get hurt, you guys got hurt.
Right. Obviously, in an incident like this, public safety is the biggest concern. We want to make sure nobody else gets hurt. That's what I was saying earlier, is we want to isolate that individual. We obviously don't want them to get hurt. We want to provide them whatever resources we possibly can, but we need to put the firearm down or the weapon down and make sure that they're safe, our officers are safe to be able to approach them and provide that aid. And thankfully today, this individual decided to put the gun down, and we were able to approach them, and now they're off to the hospital and hopefully get the resources that they need.
Anything else? I think that's it.
Anybody didn't ask you?
I think so. I think people responded really well here at Westroads. Security was great. Obviously, media is always helpful. Thank you very much. And then, just the surrounding businesses, everyone listened to police and followed our direction so that they could be safe and we could be safe. And ultimately, we came to a really safe conclusion.
Thank you.
Yeah, no
Appreciate
problem.
it.
great.
Yeah, I always enjoy hearing you speak.
Oh, thanks.
Your name
Appreciate it.
again?
I'm a fan.
Thanks.